Everybody, this is Craig Garber. Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar, and it is an honor and a privilege to have Greg Martin from the Kentucky Headhunters with us today. For a couple of times, Greg has been on here a few times. I'm going to give you a quick background, and I want to tell you a little story about Greg. Greg's been the lead guitarist of the Kentucky Headhunters since 1968, when I was 5, with an early, I had to say that, I'm sorry. With an earlier version of the band, which was originally called Itchy Brother. In '89, the current lineup was pretty much formed. And since that time, the Headhunters have released 12 studio albums, including their most recent one, which is called That's a Fact, Jack. And we'll talk about that. I just want to tell you a little story. The most common question I generally get asked by people is, what's your favorite episode? And I really don't have a favorite episode, but I do have a couple of favorite people. And one of them is Greg Martin. This guy is I'm not, I told you this to your face. He is, when I first met him, having grown up in a sort of a rough environment, I'm really attracted to people that can just be pure and kind without the edge. And when I talked to you the first time, I was like, oh my God, this guy doesn't have a bad bone in his body. We've stayed in contact for 4 years. Very consistently. I've had the pleasure. Greg was down here a few times. We hung out, had some barbecue, went some record hunting, and sure, he's just a lovely. This guy sets the mold of human beings, what people should be, honestly. So he's just the best quality person that I've ever met.
We grab my wife now for the disclaimer.
Yeah, right. That's the truth.
You know what? Sweet Craig, I consider you a good friend. I have since the first time we talked. God, this is our 4th chat.
Is it our 4th chat? Man, you can come there and I'll have you every day, man. This guy, you're so positive, man. And you leave me feeling great. You know, that's good. Yeah. Every time I'm with you, I always feel better. You know, like last week I was telling her, I said, I got Greg Martin coming on. She goes, wasn't he on your show? I said, yeah, you can come on every day. That guy, man. Well, man, I feel great. I feel so much better after, most people's neutral, and some people's like, you feel like you need to go to bed for a month after you speak them because they like drain. And then other people like you, like, oh man, I just like my day is better. I'm more zen. I'm more centered. I'm like, my spiritual shit is in gear. So thank you for being you.
Man, I'm just happy to be here because was the first, I can't even remember the first time we did talk. When was
October 2017, man. Isn't that crazy? And that's over 4 years ago. Dave Rogers from Dave's Guitar referred me to you.
Rogers, I do. Matter of fact, I've got to make a phone call up there in a little bit. Say, hey, that guitar on your list?
Don't you have a wing named the Martin Wing in Dave's guitar shop?
Things up there in his collection. I did buy I wished I had it here. I bought a Baldwin Virginian from Dave. Oh, it is a funky guitar. It was built, this one was built in 1965 by the Burns Company, and it looks like an acoustic with 2 Burns pickups. Almost psychedelic, man. My hero growing up out of Louisville, Frank Bugby with Elysian Field.
Yeah, I remember you told me about him. Yeah.
And but what years ago we shot a video for Too Much to Lose. I think it was 97. And we were visiting Dave, and I said, Dave, can we borrow that guitar? And Doug played it on the video.
Right.
And I said, here, we'll sell a guitar. Let me know.
Doug played it?
Yeah, on the video.
Oh, okay. He's a bass player though. Does he play guitar as well, or just for the video he did?
Well, there was a brief time. We had 3.
That's cool.
I can't tell you the exact years. Let's see. What happened? Doug and Ricky left.
Right.
And then Doug came back. Oh gosh, whenever he did come back, I can't remember. This is terrible. 1996, I guess. Everything's a blur now. He came in because Anthony was playing bass, so Doug just played rhythm.
That's cool.
And sometimes he'd set the guitar down, but Doug is better with an instrument in his hand.
He's got a hell of a voice, man. Still,
he's great.
He's really got an amazing voice.
He's a singer, and me and Warner Hodges talked about that. I mean, Doug is one of the greatest singers ever was. Me and Doug played together since 1981 when I was with Ronnie McDowell.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. Did you play with Warner ever? That would be a good combo. He's another lovely guy, man. He's a really cool guy.
Warner's a great guy.
Yeah.
We finally got to meet Warner back in 2019. When we toured the UK, we played with Dan Baird's
homemade sin. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Jason and the Scorchers. So we had that was some really good fun. And of course, Warner would come in the dressing room and said, I think we're going to take Doug from you. I don't know about that. I love Warner Hodges, man.
Great, incredible player too. Dan and all those guys. I had them all on the show. They're all awesome.
Oh, great. You had a great Dan.
With Dan, yeah, that's a very popular episode.
He's kind of quiet right now.
He went quiet a while ago.
Yeah. But wait, back that guitar. If you look at the video for Too Much to Lose,
it's that Baldwin you're talking about.
Yes, he's playing the Baldwin, and it's a cool guitar. Matter of fact, I was going to take it to Louisville last week to have some frets put on it, but unfortunately, I just didn't feel good last week. I don't know what that's all. Well, it's getting old.
Yeah, man, we're all getting old.
Man.
Aches and pains.
That's it. But anyway,
hey, so let's get into it because I had a lot of stuff to cover with you today.
Where go?
All right. So the new record, that's a fact, Jack. I just want to talk about that first. What prompted you guys to put a record out? Because Lord knows it's not easy to make them or promote them anymore.
That's the truth. You're right about. Well, let's see. Last time you and I talked was around November 2020, right?
On the show. Yeah.
And I was right in the middle of COVID. I had COVID.
It was right after I had just gotten over it. Yeah.
You had it. I think I still had it, right?
Something like Greg, we've been a mess, and I don't know that we've been any better every time we talk. Is get something going on.
I said, whenever I would need to get sick, I'll just schedule it. But I had COVID then. So what happened? We were supposed to start getting together about that time. First off, 2020. Our last official date, we played Alexandria, Virginia at the Birchmere mid-February. And we played the show, and it was a really good show. Everybody was playing good. And I thought, this is going to be a great year. Everybody seemed like they're firing off each other. And we've been hearing about the virus, which I could have had already back during 2019. Who knows? But we came home. We were going to have like 3 or 4 weeks off. And then the gigs were going to start around March.
Right.
If we do our regular year.
Your normal cycle. Yeah.
Normal cycle we've always done. And as you know, as soon as we got home, about 2 weeks into our little break, here come the dates to start falling out.
Yeah, man.
But we ended up getting in about 9 shows, except the very last one I couldn't play because I had COVID. So Chris Robertson from Blackstone Cherry went out and filled in for me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but November, we were supposed to get together because we knew we had to do an album. And we had another label interested over in the UK with distribution over here. But it never came to fruition for some reason. I'm not really sure what happened on that. And so they figured, well, if Greg's got COVID, nobody really knew how to deal with it back then.
Sure.
And I didn't have a terrible case. I mean, it was just congestion, fatigue. I slept a lot.
You were pretty. I remember talking to you. You were. Thank goodness. Yeah, you were all right.
You know exactly because I talked to you during that. And so anyway, we said, well, let's just get through the Christmas holidays and, get through all the holidays, and we'll get together maybe in January. So basically we finally were able to get together at Barrick Recording here in Glasgow in February. of last year.
Okay.
And no songs worked up, just basically ideas, and people brought what they had, and we would literally, somebody bring something in, we'd work it up on the floor, then hit record, you know. And it was weird. We weren't as sharp. We weren't as, I mean, it came out good because there was an urgency, but when we did On Safari, man, we were knocking that stuff out. Yeah.
Nobody was sharp that whole period of time because you had such a downtime off. And even like relationships with, because I talked to so many guys, they were going back in the studio or something. They hadn't even talked to these band members. These are like, you know, they're brothers of guys that hadn't even talked because everything was so messed up. The world was so nutty.
We lost our chops, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, but we did get through it, man. But we just knew to tour, you know, you're not going to make a big bunch of money off of records or airplay anymore. I mean, you make some, you know, and all that, but you got to have that product
to tour
for press.
Yeah.
Like that.
Right.
And so we were able to knock out an album. And I think by last March, it was pretty much tied up. You know, we had mixed it, and we found out that one label over in England, there was actually the guy that was running the label was ill. And he just didn't take on any more projects, you know. And then we ended up going with another label, BFD, more of a distribution deal, you know. And so it was mastered, and finally it came out in October. But it was in the studio. It was a lot of fog.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, let me ask you this. Do you have, everybody contributes on the songwriting. Do you guys have like having done this so many times, is there like a formula that you usually, not a formula, that's the wrong word, process that you go through, and do you guys do a lot of overdubs, or are you like one of the old school, like you pretty much lay everything down and don't have to clean much up or don't want to clean much up?
Okay. Well, there's never been a real solid formula, but what we used to do, and we don't do this as much as we're older, we used to go to the practice house and we would set up, and if somebody had an idea, they would bring it in. You know, the saying is, you know, you can write a song, but it's not a Headhunter song till we all tear it apart and put it back, you know, make it a Headhunter song. And so we weren't able to do that. You know, we didn't have that luxury at all.
Right.
But that's kind of the formula. Is there, you know, I don't know. Doug seems to be the most active writer because he's got a little studio that he records with. Richard's a great writer. Yeah. Phenomenal writer. And that's a very talented writer. I think because he's on the phone all the time dealing with the label and the business side that he just doesn't get to do it. I mean, he can still do it, you know. And Fred's a good writer. God bless.
Fred is so. I wish he would. That guy is like a Swiss watch for time, man. They don't come. I mean, he's so. I mean, I don't know why he doesn't get recognized more. I mean, his timing. You don't have that.
Well, drummers, no. Hey, if you come to a Headhunter show, you're going to notice Fred, you know, because he does a great solo. Yeah. You know, I don't know, man. It's just collectively a great band. And I know drummers from other bands that, you know, they love Fred, and he's got a good name within the industry like that. Okay, but,
great.
I don't know why
who's putting these lists together. Who's putting these? I mean, like, you know. Oh,
I don't know, man. It's weird. As you know, these big magazines, if they have to sell, that are still out there, if they really want to sell magazines, they got to go back and put Jimmy Page on the cover, Jimi Hendrix.
No, they put that 7-year-old kid who's got like 1 million likes on as a drummer number 12 or something. I'm like, what?
curly hair kid?
There's actually a young Asian kid who's a phenomenal drummer. And then there's another young kid, like a white kid from the Midwest. They're great drummers, but come on, man. They can't be on a list just because they got 1 million followers.
Man, Fred maybe knows who they are. I don't even know. It's terrible. But Fred is a great drummer.
Phenomenal, man.
Fred's a talented writer. But to answer your question, man, the songs, and there was some out, because I didn't really get to touch on this other day, but there's some outside writers actually on this time.
I know. Yeah. I saw that.
I didn't realize, God, I don't have the list in front of me. Now I do know How Could I was written by Richard and Blackstone Cherry.
Okay.
And it was, when I heard the demo, it was nothing like we did it. It was more of I think it was more minorish. I can't remember now, but we took it, made it into more of a kind of a Stones meets the Georgia Satellites or something like, more. That was really an outside song. There's another one. This is terrible. I know that Logan and TJ helped write it. And I didn't know Logan had anything to do with it, but it was brought into the studio and we just kind of tore it apart and rewrote it. And so there's a bunch of different names on it.
Sure.
But there's a few outside things, like Anthony Kenny comes in.
Yeah.
Our bass player and member from Itchy Brother. He, Heart and Soul. He's like one of the writers on that. We had a cassette of that from the practice 90s, maybe.
Yeah.
And we went and listened to it. We went, oh man, we weren't really copping it, but we ended up finding a groove. And I thought it came out pretty cool.
That's one of my favorite songs on the, yeah. Because I love your fills. You did such a good job on those fills. There's fills throughout the whole song.
I'm a country bumpkin. I'm not no heavy metal. And I love these guys that can do it, about the heaviest I ever got. It was back when Itchy Brother were playing, and but yeah, that style just comes naturally, really. That style. And Anthony, he was a phenomenal writer, phenomenal bass player. Of course, Shotgun Effie, we wrote that 1973.
Man, you sent me that. I went back and listened to it. Oh my God, it was so period. Like It was so of that period. And the recording, man, now compared to today's standards, it was so, everything was very period specific.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, I don't know, this album's different. In the beginning, Fred wanted me to sing Cheap Tequila. And I went through it one time, said, Fred, I'm not feeling this, but he's been after the band for years to do it.
To do that Johnny Winter song?
Yeah. And I said, you need to try it. And he did it his own personal way, which is interesting.
Sounded great.
Get a hold of Rick Derringer so he can hear it. But we all collaborated on this album, probably more of a collaboration than any album ever, And, Richard clocks in at about 3 songs, I believe. I don't have one. I had a copy of I had a copy of the album the other day. I had to give it to somebody. That's the trouble when I never have enough copies of it. But anyway.
Who did the mix on this? It was a phenomenal mix, man. It was really well done.
David Barrick.
Yeah, man. He did a great job on the mix, man. I really enjoyed that.
Does a really good job. He gets good sounds.
First class. It really was.
Yeah. Rodney Mills mastered it. And
Rodney Mills, I had him on here. You know what? Yeah, of course I know. Do you know what Rodney does mostly? He masters rap music, hardcore trap music, which is rap unique to Atlanta. Yeah, that's what that's so funny. That's good to hear that Rodney did that. That's nice, man.
He's we've known Rodney for a long time.
That's great.
Rodney in the Southern music.
Outlaws, Carlisi, 38 Special, Skinner. Yeah, man. He's deep in that.
But I'm sure but Willie too, maybe. I don't know, but he mastered it. And we did bring in Kevin Mckendree on piano on 2
I
tracks.
saw that. Yeah, I had Kevin on here too, man. I saw that. I was happy to. I know he grew up. He was like you kind of like a mentor to him when he was a little kid, right?
Oh, love Kevin, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
really sweet guy.
And his son, Yates.
I haven't heard him, but I know he's coming up and coming.
Oh, he's one of my favorite. He's a great keyboard player, but he plays great blues guitar, kind of like Anson.
That's yeah.
Oh yeah, I've known Kevin. Kevin showed up at my door with that's a long story. I won't have to get into all that, but I've known Kevin since he was a little bitty fella. He wanted to come over. He wanted to meet. He came down to Glasgow in the 80s with this guy that had moved up there that we knew. He wanted to meet somebody on the road and he wanted to look at some guitars. I said, yeah, come on in, man. Two little fellas looking at my guitars. I went, then one day would send me little CDs and stuff. Then one day I get the CD and I'm going, Big Joe and the Dynaflows. And I look, that's Kevin. And I'm going, oh my God, he's playing his rear end off.
Yeah, he's a great keyboardist, man, and lovely guy. He's a really good guy.
Lovely. But and TJ from Georgia Thunderbolts, he played some keyboards on a song or two as well. But it's a real collaboration.
That's cool.
It's a real mess,
I love the record. It was. Let me ask you a couple of songs I like. So Susanna.
Oh yeah.
Right. Doug's voice.
Yeah.
On that track particularly, man, I was just like, holy smokes.
Yeah. Doug sold that one, didn't he?
He did a great, phenomenal job.
Well, a little background on that. We were on the road when he heard that Levon Helm had passed away.
Right.
And that was the inspiration. Some reason he said it just hit him hard, and he went and wrote that song, the most of it. And the inspiration for however it was from Levon Helm's passing. And that's a very sparse song too.
It's a great track. Really nice. And you were playing lots of twang on there, man. I know that wasn't your Gibson. What were you playing? There you go.
This 50 Strat right here.
50 what?
1957 Strat.
That neck looks so beautiful. It's like perfectly worn, man.
Oh, this is my favorite Strat ever, man. This is the one that someone stole out of my van, threw it in the creek. You know the story about that?
No.
Well, I need Eric down here to tell me. It was 2000, 2001. I was working on the Mighty Jeremiah CD, and I had just put the solo down. We had been on the road that weekend, but we ended up playing Glasgow, Kentucky for a private company on a Saturday. And the next day I had studio time booked to go do some solos for this Mighty Jeremiah project on the Jimmy Hall. And so I was tired, went and laid the solos down. And when I come home, I had this and a 50s Junior in the van and a piece of crap old Macintosh laptop I bought at Walmart for like nothing because it was antiquated already. And so I just came in. I thought, okay, I'll unload my stuff a little later. So I come in and start watching Mary Tyler Moore show or something. Next thing I know,
Tyler Moore.
Well, yeah, I was watching.
Dating yourself.
Oh yeah, I love Mary Tyler.
And that was a great show. Yeah.
But I fell asleep on the couch, and I woke up the next morning. I'm going, oh my God, TV on. I went, okay. I went out, and the Strat case, it was in a gig bag, it looked like a golf club bag, kind of like a tweed bag. And I thought, oh my God, I've left the guitar at the studio. That's what I thought. And I noticed that the Les Paul case was unlatched, but it was in there. So put this feller back here.
Yeah, man.
Can't hurt him. But anyway, so as the morning went on, I realized that somebody I had left, of all nights for me to leave my van open and that stuff in there. Somebody had hit the neighborhood. We found out somebody hit the neighborhood.
Oh.
And they think to this day, I think they thought it was a golf clubs because it was in this gig bag that looked like a kind of a gun bag or something. They saw, God, this old guitar. There's a bridge about a mile from here. They threw it over the bridge and it landed on a sandbar, got a little damp. And I didn't see the guitar for 2 weeks, but I had put posters up everywhere. And there was a fax line right here next to me that no longer works for some reason. But that was my business line for years. And I got a call because I was using that number on the poster. And this is Joe Smith, and I think I know where your guitar is. I went, okay. And he gave me his number. And I kept calling the number. Nobody would ever answer. And I thought, oh, man, it's a cruel joke, And finally, one day he answered. He said, oh, no, man, I'm staying in a motel. There's a payphone outside. And he said, yeah, over my friend's house over on next to Boyd's Creek. And they pulled a guitar out of the sand barge. They were fishing.
Oh, and my God.
Me and Anthony, I told Anthony, and Anthony went with me. Anthony Kenny, he put a gun up on the seat.
Yeah, man, you got to do that. Honestly, you can't be going to like, oh, I got your guitar. It's down. I'm staying in a hotel. Yeah, he was my phone. Yeah, no, he went
with me.
You bring your gun with her.
We went to this out in the middle of nowhere, and this house looked like something from Grapes of Wrath. It's not even there now. And there was a guitar laid on top of the gig bag on a washing machine. And I said, yeah, we're down fishing over there. And we pulled that thing in. I went, and it got,
that's like the Rory Gallagher guitar that was soaked out in the rain.
You could see a little, I don't know if you guys can see this. It's a little
the top. Yes.
A little discolored. And the back is just.
Oh, it looks so awesome. When did you get that guitar?
After seeing Anson Funderburg in 1991, I had a 58, a real clean 58. I was at Guitar Emporium one day and I walk in, I see this guitar laying on the case and I'm going, Jimmy, you want to do some trade? I picked it up and hit a couple of notes and went, oh, that's what I want. And I traded even the 58 for this.
How was that different from the 58?
This has got B, and the 58 had 3-tone. It was a 3-tone finish.
Okay.
Neck was a little bit more rounded, and it was cleaner. But this thing right here just plays so. And that's what.
How is the neck different?
Oh, it's got a V, kind of a V shape.
And the 58 was.
It was more rounded,
Okay. Interesting. Is that one thicker than? Fatter neck or?
This is perfect. That's only
you love it, yeah.
Guitar. I love just like here's the 50. I got the 58 over here. I'll show you in a minute. But
wait a minute, how'd you get? I thought you said you traded the 58.
Oh, I'm talking about the Les Paul.
Oh, okay, yeah. That
yeah. But this is guitar and Cheap Tequila guitar.
Very cool,
Cheap
man.
Tequila and Susanna, that's this right here.
Well, you could hear it on Susanna. I was like, he's not playing his Gibson on that, man. I wasn't sure if it was a Strat or a Telly, but I knew it wasn't your Gibson.
Yeah.
Very
so,
cool.
And you hit on a while ago. Basically, we try to go for live tracks as much as we can for the energy.
Yeah.
I did go back and do solos on a few things here and there, but I can't remember which ones. But most generally, I want to get done.
Yeah. Of course.
I want to be done with it.
Well, too, man. I mean, you guys have been making music together so long. That's part of what makes this work.
Yeah, that's right.
Being together. And like, I've talked to so many guys and 90% of them say my first solo is always the best take anyway. That's
about the truth. And if you hit one bad clunker, you can fix it or move it. But you're, on Susanna, I think there was one part I was like, oh man, at the very end, I said, I think I did that a little better. So David did something where he just moved something from somewhere. I said, okay, that's what I meant to do.
It's great.
Yeah. Let me put this back here. Yeah,
Lonely Too Long. Who's singing that?
Oh, that's Doug.
That's Doug again. Yeah. I
Doug
love
song.
your guitar in there, man. You got tons of tasty licks throughout the song. And what guitar did you play there and on that track?
58 Les Paul.
58 Les Paul. Is there a backstory to that track? God, I love your guitar.
This is a good one, man. Doug wrote that at home. The basic song was written by him. Then we just tore it apart and made it more of a Headhunter thing.
Right.
You know, yeah, Doug. It's very melodic. Doug can sing melodic type things.
He's a hell of a voice, man. Honestly.
You know, I sang on that one song. That's about the extent of my singing.
I've never when you I've seen you in concert twice. I've never seen you sing in I see background vocals is about it. That's a good reason.
I quit singing 73, 74, and I never pursued it. And man, at this age, there's no sense of me even when you got a singer like Doug Phelps, you know.
Yeah.
I should have let Doug sing Shotgun Effie, actually, you know, kind of, but it's okay for historical reasons.
And, and then the song Anthony Kenny primarily wrote was another favorite, Heart and Soul. That's really cool rockabilly. You got some great licks throughout there. And same thing, which guitar did you play on that?
That's the 58 Les Paul.
The Les Paul again. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably. I'm trying to remember. There was three amps I used. I either used two 50s Tweed Fender Deluxes chained together, or the 1969, this head right here, 1969 Marshall, into a 412. But I think on like the Susanna and Heart and Soul, I think that was the guitar right into those deluxes, pretty sure. Yeah,
man, you do that
echo too.
Anybody, you do. I mean, it's so nice to see you play when you set up. You went crazy that one night. You had a wah-wah pedal with you, but normally it's just you plug right. It's just so magical, man. I mean,
yeah, thank you. I've got a lot of pedals, and I love pedals. Matter of fact, I didn't have this here to plug it. There's a company did this for me. It's called the Cedar Flat Lightning. It's just a little booster. So
Greg Martin, it's the Greg Martin booster.
Yes.
Dude, you've arrived.
Yeah, I mean, I even signed it. So
that's awesome, man.
But this belongs to Boone Froggatt. But it was just laying here because I used that. Mine is on the road, but I used that. Like if I got like a little Champ and I want a little bit more drive.
Okay.
You know, because I'll sit there watching Westerns at night. You know, I'll be watching The Rifleman, Bonanza.
Rifleman.
Gun. Oh man, it's my big thing now. Yeah, man.
What are you watching that on? Hulu? What has Westerns?
INSP.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
We watch it on the bus a lot now. Finally, we're watching so much news. I finally said, listen, man, if y'all don't stop this out here, I don't care what channel, what side. I'm tired of it. I'm tired.
I haven't watched news at least 35 years, man.
Well, you're smart.
It's just too negative.
Yes, man. Politics. Come on. We won't go there.
It's just negative. Whatever it is negative.
World, this country is love and giving it back to our maker, you know.
Yeah, man.
And whatever puppet we've got, I won't go there.
But I mean, just even the crime. Who wants to hear about that? It's like nothing positive. And when I started studying like self-help, self-development stuff, I remember reading something and said the thoughts that you hear first thing in the morning and last thing in the day go into your subconscious. And I'm like, well, that's news. I got to cut that out immediately. I don't want any of that crap in my subconscious.
I believe in the morning, you're given a clean slate. And then if you read the Bible, the Israelites, when they were on their plight through their journey, they were given manna in the morning. You know about that, right? They were given manna. That sustained them.
Okay.
But if it was left out so long, it would rot.
Okay.
And really think the morning is magic. Like, you should pick up a guitar early in the morning, and you're right. Early in the morning, have some positivity. Man, read something out of Proverbs, out of Psalms.
Just do something positive, man. Like, the last thing you want to do is hear news.
Away from the news, you know. So anyway, on the bus, I said, man, let's start. We started watching Westerns. And I tell you what, we were watching Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh my God. That's like Chuck Norris, right?
Yeah, man.
That's so funny.
I got to be, you know, when I first saw it, I went, oh, this is terrible. But, you know, I got to where I really liked that show. And I thought, well, this is pretty cool, man. You know, but anything's better than the news. So.
Anything's better than news. Yeah, man. I can't handle news. I haven't watched, at least, maybe I'm 58. Yeah, maybe almost close to 40 years, maybe even 35 to 40 years. Yeah, man. I've never once in my life during that whole time have I ever said, man, I really miss watching the news. That thought has never come in my mind. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. Well,
hey man, protect your mornings, because it's very important. It really is.
It is.
If you're a musician, I really think those, everybody's got their own thing, but I really think in the morning you pick up an instrument. I think we're antennas, you know.
Yes.
Creativity is given from above, comes through. I say musical manna, you know, for guitar player.
Yeah.
You should record that right then. And also, man, you guard your mind. You got to guard your mind, man. It says everything I'm talking about is biblical, you know.
Yeah.
And I love the Bible. You know, it's very out, you know, it's written way back, but it's so much more relevant now. So
you're one of the only people that when you put biblical verses up, I'm interested in, because I know you're being sincere. Because I know, Greg, but a lot of people like want to show you how righteous they are by doing stuff like that.
I'm so on, bro.
It's so duplicitous, and it's like, but when you put I'm interested because it's coming from you, and I'm interested in what you're thinking, you know, as a human.
You want people to be lifted up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not here because, man, we could get 4 different pastors in a round table here, and there'd be something in the Bible they'd be splitting hairs about or fighting about. Man, anybody out there that just wants to feel better about themselves, get into the book of Proverbs and Psalms. That's enough. And then, you know, I'll tell you, that's the one book that every word in that Bible is alive. It'll go into your heart. It'll make you a better person.
You know what? When I went in for that surgery, you sent me something.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. And when I would go out walking, I would say it. And then when I went in for my surgery that morning, I said it. And then the next thing I know, I was waking up.
It was a verse. It was
a verse. Yeah.
Which verse was?
I'll carry you in my righteous right hand or something.
It was from Psalms.
It was from Psalms. Yeah, you sent it to me, and I wrote it down, and it said I put your name next to it. You know, and I put the verse where it was from. Well, it was very. What's that?
You were going through a rough time there.
I went through a real rough time. I was any help I could get. It was a long period of time, man. Yeah, it was.
Bless your heart, you were.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a while, but it's in the past, thank God. So
if there's any guys, if you're having some problems, man, I'm not here to preach, you know, fire and brimstone to you or anything like that, but it would just make you feel better, man. Get into the Bible. It's a great book. It really is. It's my favorite book, you know.
Well, that was kind of you to send it to me. And like I said, I said it right up until the time, the last thing I thought right before I went in my surgery was that, because I just felt, honestly, man, I just felt like the kindness that you've always exhibited to me. I'm like, I need to surround myself with that when I'm going into this stupid surgery. And so I did, and everything worked out. So
yeah,
I was here. So
and doing great. I know I was talking to you one time. I was driving to Louisville. You were in pain. You were out walking.
Yeah, it's a mess, man.
You couldn't stop because if you did stop, you'd probably lay down.
Yeah, that was the only thing that helped. I don't know how or why. Neither did doctors, but
2017, I do not know what I did. I twisted, pinched a nerve I was down for about a month in the bed.
Those things are, I had a guy on the show here. He had the same, they just did a record and then he hurt himself and he had a tour Australia. He was on the road, the full album tour, a year and a half. He said he would lay on the floor on the bus.
Yes.
Get enough energy, play the show, and then everybody would go out afterwards. He laid on the bus. This is a year and a half. When he sat on the plane, he sat facing the back of the chair. It was just terrible. And he had the same exact surgery I had. And it took him, a year to get better. Yeah.
It's rough stuff, buddy. Rough stuff. Yeah, I've had COVID once or twice, and I'm not taking anything from that. I'm, because I know it hurts a lot of people.
Yeah.
But pain I've ever been in was my sciatic nerve. God bless. I don't want to go through that again ever.
Yeah, that was the worst, man.
I know I know I'm derailing your music thing. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm drinking ski, so I've got.
He's ski. That's code word in Kentucky for whiskey.
Right. This is our mouth. This is diet ski.
Diet ski. Hey, I want to ask you some questions, like more conventional interview questions, since we haven't done this. Did you get anything positive out of the downtime?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
What? Tell me.
Well, time with my family.
Yeah.
I can't even describe it. And especially when I had COVID, it made me stop and just, I don't know, it made me appreciate what we had as a family. I don't know. It was weird. It was almost like the Lord was giving me some type of spiritual glimpse, like, you're going to be okay and everything. But even when you back up through before that, the positive stuff that came out of it, I've been on the road, on a bus since 1981. My cycle, that's what I do.
Yeah.
And when it's the first time I had time to spend with Ruth and Eric, and I cleaned the basement up. It needs a little bit more work.
You showed me the videos. You did a lot of work, man. Are you kidding? You did a ton of work, man.
Greg, that was a burden that on my spirit, man. It was terrible. I was thinking, oh my God, I've got to deal with that. Like when I retire, God only knows when that is. He only knows. And I said, I've got to deal with all that. But when the COVID hit, gigs shut down. I had a friend that had just retired from working at the hospital as a janitor. And I called him. I said, Steve, would you be into working a little extra? And he come over and looked at the house. He went, oh my God. But you know what? We stayed on that for 3 or 4 months. And
I know you did. I would call you like, hey, Craig, I'm doing the basement tomorrow. Let's talk on Thursday or whatever. You were very consistent. You were super consistent with that.
Yeah, got it. And that was good. And being with my family, I kept my radio show going. I kept that going every week up until I had COVID. Then I had to take off about 3 weeks.
Right.
And, but man, the good thing, some people, my plan was I pulled all my Mickey Baker books out. I thought, I'm going to learn some cool, I'm going to learn me some cool jazz chords, That
didn't work.
Yeah. Never did that. So anyway, but it was a good thing, man. I don't know. There was something when I was down and I had COVID and I had it. There was just some type of peace about it. I don't know if you experienced that or not.
I experienced the exact same thing. And
did you have any weird
dreams?
Yeah, weird dreams or did you think about things you went, oh God, I haven't thought about that in years. It was weird. It's the weirdest.
I had some weird things happen to me. Like one, I had a hard time sleeping. I had terrible, terrible stomach
Oh,
pains.
I'm saying
And
that.
I couldn't sleep. And one morning, or I guess one afternoon, I wake up and my wife says, she goes, "Hey, what was that all about this morning?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "Well, 5 o'clock in the morning, I wake up. You were fully dressed and had all the lights on in the bedroom." And this is like all news to me. I'm like, "Okay, go ahead." And I said, "What happened?" She said, "Well, I asked you, what were you doing awake?"
Yeah.
And you pointed to the wall and you said to me, "You see all these holes in the wall? Someone's got to fix them. And it's me." And she was, because we got no holes in the wall, and she's freaking out because I'm hallucinating. So she calls my son.
Yes, fever, right? Surely.
It was really funny. The first week I was sick, I had terrible fever symptoms. Chills, which is the worst. I hate not sleeping, but I had no fever. The second week, I had a very high fever, no fever symptoms. None of this made any sense.
Things on the wall. Did you have a fever?
No, that was the first week. I don't know what was going on. But there was nothing on the wall. So she was freaking out. So she's calling my son. She's like, "Dad's like hallucinating. We got to do something with him." I'm nutty or beyond normal. And he just said, "Mom, he's not sleeping. That's why." And he was right, because I wasn't sleeping. I don't know. My stomach was just so painful. I couldn't sleep.
Well, around 1958, 59, I had terrible flu or something, high fever. This was in Louisville. We lived on 6th Street. And I remember this is back when doctors would come visit.
Yeah.
Out of penicillin. But I remember laying there and looking on the walls going, "I see trucks and cars." I mean, I've seen similar things,
Yeah. But usually you're right. It's when you have a fever. That week when I had it.
I don't know.
Very strange.
But getting back to last year was not last year, but 2020.
2020, yeah.
2020 was a strange year. But I can't really, I know there's people that had rougher times with it, but honest to God, it was the time off the road was welcome for me.
Yeah.
Because it made me refocus on a couple of things, to rethink about the radio show, which I'm slow, as you know, man. It takes me forever to do something.
I wouldn't be so hard on yourself. You get it done, Greg.
Well, it happens. Things happen when they're supposed to.
Right.
Because things happen like I wanted them to, I'd kill myself. Right. I cannot.
Things happen never happen on your schedule.
Oh, it's got to be on God's. He knows. Yeah. And there again, as you know, I'm doing a live stream out here twice a month for together. And I couldn't do that until I got this place cleaned up, and it's just, it was a positive thing for me. 2020 was positive.
Mine was as well. I really got refocused. When my kids come over now, I work a lot. I don't work when my kids are around, I'm available.
You're a hard worker.
Yeah, I work hard. I work a lot, and
you do.
I like it. I don't know why. I don't know.
You're passionate about what you do.
Yeah, I like what I do, and I don't mind.
Look at that. Well, you're a musician too, though. But
I wouldn't call me a musician.
Go. Boy, these.
What's that? You broke
look
up.
at us. You go. These guys sure are weird.
No, they're great. I love musicians. This has been great. But it definitely refocused me. And when my kids come over now, I'm 100% there from the time they walk in. It used to be they come in, "Hey guys, I'll be out in a few minutes." And a few minutes is a half hour, and then 40. I'm available before they come in now.
Buddy, time is the greatest gift, as you know, and it's something you can get back.
You can make more money. You cannot make more time.
That's God's truth, man. And I've been blessed, and you've been blessed, and
totally.
So I don't want, I'm not one of these guys that wants to be on the road. And I hope this don't come off sounding like I've been on the road for over 40 years now, longer than that. because I was in a van before that. But I mean, I want to spend some time with my family.
Yeah.
And at some point just be home. And I got a fat tomcat who weighs 20 pounds around here somewhere.
Baudelaire.
yeah. Boodle. Fat boy. And but you know, man, time is something you better really redeem it, you know? Redeem
yeah, man. No one's ever, you know, the old thing, no one's ever sat on their deathbed saying, man, I had such a good time in the office. I'm really going to miss that, you know? And that, when I had COVID, that
yeah,
for some reason, it really hit home hard.
I think COVID did make a lot of us, some people some people didn't make it through.
Yeah.
Some other symptoms that went with it, you know, get into all kinds of discussion on that, which we won't.
No.
But a lot of us that went through it the way we did, we come out with a different outlook, you know.
Yeah.
It made me go, oh, I want to go out and make more money now. You know, we all lost a lot of money in 2020, you know.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah. Everybody in
survived didn't.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't really put money and joy together. It's, of course, I don't want to be broke. I won't be able to pay the bills, you know, and all that.
Yeah, but the money and joy are separate. Money,
That's
you can
right.
be joyful without money, and you can be miserable with money. You want to try to balance it, you know. Hopefully that you got the money doing something joyful, so then you could earn it. You could enjoy it more.
Maybe I told you before, but I could say, hey, Craig, I'm going to send you a check for $1,000 today. And you'd be really happy. And you get the check, you go to the bank and say, well, Craig, this check is not any good. Be like,
yeah, take the wind out of my sails. Yeah, man.
You know? Yeah, man, joy. Hey, joy is something that's consistent. It's a spiritual thing, man. It comes from above. And even when things are really crazy, that you have that foundation. Happiness can be changed in a minute by any outward circumstance, so to speak.
Yeah.
But man, joy is what we strive for. And
you know what brought me joy? When I felt so lucky, my wife was taking care of me, man. She came in every day, give me, I was out sleeping most of the time, to be honest with you, for 2.5 weeks, but I remember she'd come in and give me some Gatorade, or just because I wasn't eating. I mean, and I felt so lucky that I had that, to tell you.
Well, that's one of the great things about marrying up.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I remember she said one time, she goes, she was really worried. She goes, hey man, do you want to go to the hospital? And this is back in they weren't letting anybody in the hospital. And I said, I remember looking up and I said, well, here's the deal. I said, I got some pretty blonde looking in on me 3 times a day, or I could sit in the hospital alone. I said, no. I said, I'm totally good right here. I'm totally fine right here. I said, thanks, babe, but I'm good. You know,
I believe 2020 taught you and I, we talked a bit during that.
Yeah, we did.
We came through it. And I know, you know, as I said, Richard and Fred and Steve Wilson in my camp went through it back in last year of around September. Richard actually did pretty good with it.
Good.
And Fred, it scared Fred. And Steve, you know, he was pretty tired, but they've got through it. Everybody's okay. Now, why it hit some people harder than others, I don't know.
One night I started getting chest pains, and honest, this is what happened. Honest to God, I said this out loud.
Okay.
I said, if you're coming, and this might sound macho, I didn't mean it like this, but I had to say it to myself.
Sure.
I said, you better bring it, because you're going to have to work for this, man. And
in other words, up.
What's that?
You weren't ready to give up.
No, wasn't even close. I said, and I don't, and look, by the grace of God, nothing happened.
Yeah.
But that's what I needed to do to prepare myself for if I was going to fight.
I think God's been looking after you for a while now. That boy from the Bronx, well, he sure has a hard head, but I ain't giving up on him.
Yeah, I've had a lot of good stuff come my way, man. Are you kidding me? Yeah. But yeah, so I feel the same about COVID. And to tell you the truth, I've asked, not a lot of people, but I've asked certain people, and everybody that I've asked has had the same reaction, that it really helped them get back to their families and appreciate what's good about life.
Man, it was, I guess I finally got a TV operating in the basement again. And that's where the INSP started happening. I started watching. Oh my God. I was watching Lost in Space the other night.
Lost in, what is this, like a 60s channel or late 60s, early 70s channel?
Me TV. And this one of the worst. I love Lost in Space. I think
funny.
Mooney.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Have you ever interviewed Billy Mooney?
No, he's from that show, isn't he?
Yes, he was a little guy. Will Robinson. He's a good musician.
Is he? Seriously?
Yes, he is. Both of us need to interview him. I know, folks. We're saying, let's work on that. That'd be our goal.
Lost in Space. Okay.
Figure out how to get a hold of him. But this episode was terrible. They land on this planet where the plants are like alive or whatever, and there's this big guy walking around, a carrot. His name was Tybo.
This is what happens in the 1960s, man.
Oh yeah, and Tybo's trying to turn all of them into vegetables. Dr. Smith, they tried to turn Dr. Smith into a celery, and finally Judy Robinson, who was beautiful.
Yeah, she was really good looking. Yeah.
Oh man. She finally talked Willoughby, said he don't need to be a celery, and finally Willoughby gave him the potion to turn him back into Dr. Smith.
Oh my God, Dr. Zachary, his name is Zachary.
Zachary, yeah, Dr. Zachary Smith, right?
Oh, Zachary Smith. Okay, that's right. Okay, Zachary.
I know.
Smith. Right.
Guys, nuts. What? I love Lost in Space.
Man. That's hilarious, Greg.
No, seriously, check out Billy Mooney, man.
I will. I wrote his name down. I'll check him out.
Oh yeah, go check his Facebook page out. He plays once a week. He'll play acoustic. I've seen him play piano, and he hung out with the Allman Brothers. Him and Angela Cartwright.
Munnie.
Billy Mumy.
Okay.
But we used to call him Billy Mummy when we were kids. We didn't know.
Okay. I'll check him out.
So that's so if anybody don't know what a great musician he is, check him out. I know.
Billy Mummy. Billy Mummy. All right. Another question for you.
Yes, sir.
What do you like and dislike most about yourself?
Gosh, well, that's a hard question. Well, what I don't like is my focus sucks. I'm scattered.
You're scattered.
I'm very scattered. But I do manage to get things done by the grace of
you do.
I do. But I'll have 2 or 3 things going at once. As you know, tonight I'll be doing a radio show. If I can get out of the driveway, we got ice and snow up here right now. Wow. And then tomorrow I'll get a tooth out. But anyway, that's the thing I don't like, my focus. And I guess that as a kid, there was also a fear of stepping out and doing things, I always wanted to be in a band.
I remember you told me this when we first did our first interview about this, that you were gun shy when you were a kid.
Yeah, I was real shy, extremely shy. And then the radio thing is just for fun. I mean, at my age, I'm not going to make any great career out of it, but I love it. And I always was infatuated with these DJs because I would sit around, and, we lived in Metcalfe County as a kid. I'd go through the AM dial, pulling stations out of Chicago, Fort Wayne, New Orleans, Nashville, and it was just like an adventure. So, but I wished I had the drive to get into radio more early. But I think God had a plan. What do I like about myself? That I can get up in the morning and still breathe and walk.
No, besides that, you know, what's given to you? I mean, what do you like about you?
I most generally, you know, I would think I'm a fairly joyful person, happy person, but I'm also a realist. You know, if somebody comes up to me and starts feeding me a bunch of bull, I do have an indicator.
Yeah, you have a meat. Yeah.
You're not shooting me straight. Don't be trying to top hat me here or whatever the term is.
Good
you know,
you.
I think everybody has a gift, a spiritual gift, and discernment, I think, is one of mine. And I do like the fact that sometimes whether it's playing guitar, doing my radio show, or just hanging out with people, that you can lift somebody up a bit.
Yeah,
you know,
you do.
I think that would be a gift. There's a lot of things that need to be worked on, but I don't know if I got time to work on them.
I hear you, man. We all do. That's a great answer. Thank you. Best decision you ever made.
Oh, well, there was, can it be like two? Well, can it be three?
Of course.
Well, as a kid, this is for me. There again, I'm not pushing my beliefs on anybody, but the best decision I ever made in 1967 was going forward and giving my life to the Lord, because he opened, right after that, he started opening up doors for what I was going to be doing. And I know in 1968, I had not a vision where the sky lit up or anything, but I just knew in my heart that I was supposed to play music. And I do believe that's a part of my gift. One of the best decisions I ever made. I love Louisville, Kentucky. Love the town, but one of the best decisions I ever made was to move out of there in 1977, and because the music thing would have just died up there on the vine. You know, a great town. I love the people, but when I moved down here to play with Richard and Fred, it opened up other doors to go to Nashville, this and that. Then, and when I married Ruth.
What was that? How long have you been married?
1979.
You got married in 79?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
We had
God bless you, man. That's like,
what, how many years?
Like 43 years.
We'll be hitting 43 years here in February.
Man, congratulations. That is so cool.
Well, she's been real supportive, and
that's amazing.
She's put up with a lot of nights. Of course, Eric came along in 1982, and my son is autistic, but he is a very high functioning. He has got such a gift, and some of these folks watching know him from.
Yeah.
He has a gift, and he can lift people up, man. That's God-given, you know.
Well, that comes from you, a lot of it, Greg, because you're a really good dad, and you have chosen that. You know, that's an effort. That doesn't just happen, especially in a situation where you have a kid with autism. You have to work a little harder. That's the truth. And you have, man, assumed that role as good as anybody. You know, you're a great dad. I always say that.
Thank you.
In fact, that's one of the things that when I always say, hey, do you know Greg Martin? And so one of the quality I always say, I mean, the guy's a great dad. And yeah, you are, man.
That, you know, if somebody says that means a whole lot. And
so true.
Great son. You know, and I've never have thought anything negative about, because I see the joy he brings to people. Right. He knows, he genuinely, we were in the store Saturday. It was a Saturday, I guess, because we knew the snow was coming. And he sees people, and he just goes over and says, and he knows they're kids. And he's saying, well, how's so-and-so? And I'm going, you know, and he just knows he's just really good with people, you know. And but I've never thought I've always had a real peace about the way he is, and my wife too. We know that we've been blessed with Eric,
right?
And I guess as we're getting older and more forgetful, that, come here, computer boy. was my anniversary.
Yeah.
Like that. But hey, man, I don't know. I'm just been very blessed. Very blessed.
3 awesome things.
Starting experiencing aches and pains here and over the last few years, but I think that's going to be coming, right?
Apparently, yeah, because I've got it, and I've always worked out. I never thought it would happen to me, but like,
and I'm out of shape right now. I'll get back on it though. I don't know, man. It's weird times, but
very weird times.
We can get weird right back at them.
Hey, tell me, toughest decision that you've had to make, or most difficult thing you've had to do.
Well, there was one when my mother got sick in 82. She got, she passed actually in 82.
Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Young.
And she was 61 years old.
Yeah, that's young.
On the road with Ronnie McDowell at the time. I came in off the road. Of course, I'd been spending, coming in off the road and then driving to Louisville and spending time with her at the hospital. But I came home one Sunday and Ruth met me and said, "You're going to have to go to Louisville. Your mother's worse, So I guess one of the toughest decisions stood with my dad as because she was on they were trying to keep her and we had to let her go, pull the plug, so to speak. That was
I've had a couple of people tell me that on the show. That's a very unnatural thing. Like, how do you even, where do you go to process what decision you're gonna make for that?
Well, my dad, I knew he had a rough time with it, but I stood beside him and it was rough. She wasn't going to get better. She just didn't take good care of herself when she was younger. Another hard decision was, I've worked with Ronnie McDowell from 1981 to 1989. And when we signed our record deal, I said, well, I'm going to have to cut the life support.
Yeah.
And we have to jump off here in the unknown, and everything we worked as kids is coming to fruition. But is it going to happen once we sign this deal? Sometimes the hard thing, signing the record deal is not the hardest thing. It's keeping it. I thought, that we would put one album out, and I thought it'll probably go. I didn't know it was going to do what it did. So when I left Ronnie McDowell, that was a pretty hard decision because when I didn't have a job, I took a little job at a record store here in Glasgow for about 6 And matter of fact, when they premiered our video in the fall of '89, I was working that day, and there was a laundromat next door. And there was a little African-American kid came in to get get some quarters, some change. He looks up TV and he looks back at me and said, "Mister, is that you on TV?"
That's cool. That's a nice memory.
Yeah, that was really cool because how often that happened. But leaving McDowell was kind of hard because I learned a lot with Ronnie. But obviously, you want to do your own thing, and get to finally do it with Richard, Fred, and Doug, and Ricky. Ricky was a big part, as you know. He was a huge part of that early thing. So that was rough.
Yeah.
I don't know if there could be some other harder decisions, just doing my laundry is hard. I got laundry in the room.
Oh my God.
I'm going to break you up here in a minute.
Yeah. Most important lesson life has taught you?
Unplug from the negative.
That's great. That was that scripted? I would think that was scripted.
It wasn't, but unplug. If there's any negativity around you, it'll try to come knock on the door. hey, Craig,
Oh,
here's
dude.
a bowl of negative soup for you today.
You know what I did recently? I used to look at Facebook once in a blue moon during the day.
It kind of drag you
on my phone. I took it and I stuck it in a folder on my phone. I haven't looked, and I'll just look at it once in a blue moon at my desktop if I get a message. I cannot tell you how much better I feel.
Well,
so much negative, way beyond what I thought was coming out of that thing.
And every day I see friends that are suffering from losing people. Saw last night that Kelton Swade passed away. You know who Kelton?
Why do I know that name? No, I don't. I don't.
Built Telecasters and Stratocasters.
Yes.
I just saw. I hadn't seen Kelton since it's probably been 7 years, but I looked. I went, "Oh my God, Kelton!" I didn't talk to him very much, but I knew him. Every time I would post a video of me playing a guitar, you need me to play one of my guitars. I said, but Kelton, I play a Gibson mostly. I'm always, and I understand that we got to lift our brothers and sisters up the best we can. But man, this arguing politics, arguing.
I can't handle it. I just can't handle it. I just can't handle it. I don't want to. I don't care. That's not why I signed up.
No.
It's social media. I did not sign up for that. I don't care what side you're on. It's none of my business. I genuinely don't care, but I don't want to hear it.
If you can't lift somebody up just for a little bit, there's no sense of even getting on the, and I try not to. I've probably made a couple of comments before and I go, why did I say that? No, I try not to do that. You got to lift your brother and sisters up, man.
I cannot. That's what I hope comes out of the show that I do, but I cannot.
You help a lot of people, man.
I cannot handle. I didn't realize how negative. Like I've gone to bed the last 3 nights that I've done this, and I feel better. And that's the only change I've made.
Yeah, I think the negativity. I mean, obviously, it's going to find you, but there again. If you got that joy we talked about, that's there. It's you're going to get through the negativity.
And I don't know. I talk to myself too if I'm down or if I'm like, like I talk to myself out loud, not because I'm crazy. I mean, I might be crazy, but it helps. So like, if it helps, I don't care, And sometimes my wife will come and she goes, "Who are you talking to?" I'm like, "It's just me." She goes, "Okay." She's used to it.
I know I'm nuts, man, but the thing is, but we're lucky that we've been given platforms that we can help people.
Yeah.
And there's people that help us. Obviously this is going to be a really up for today.
I want to promote your radio show, man, because you are so passionate about it. Talk about it. I know how much you love it. And I'm like, whenever I talk to you and you're, "Hey, Craig, man, I got to go. I'm getting ready to do the radio show. I got to put some." And I so like when you say that, because I know I
love doing the radio show.
Yeah. Talk about it. Low Down, Hoedown is the name of the radio show.
Down. Oh, let me.
And you got merch now.
Yeah. This is, can you?
Yeah, dude, look at that. The Low Down Hoedown with brother Greg Martin. And everybody calls Greg brother Greg because he's just that guy, man. Like he's like, I mean, I know there's like sort of like a spiritual overtone to that, but you're just that guy. Everybody loves you. You're just
you got coffee mugs.
Dude, you're right on it. All right. Talk about the show. Where can people listen? Where can people send you money and buy all your stuff?
Well, there is a Low Down Hoedown merch store out on the internet that Boone Froggatt and Steve Jewell helped put together. And
let me tell you, both of those guys are so cool.
They are.
They're really sweet guys, man. Really cool guys.
Well, they're not kids now, but I look at them as kids.
Well, compared to us, they're kids. Steve's younger. Steve's always calling me, and I'm like, we're talking. So I'm like, "Steve, because we talk like we're buddies, but I'm like, "Steve, you're younger than my son. I cannot believe it." He goes, "Yeah, man."
That's Steve. Right?
Yeah, man.
the merch store is just out there on, just do a search for Lowdown Hoedown.
Awesome.
And you'll, if you see that logo,
LOW down, HOE down.
Yeah. And we're going to, this year is going to be a year to update the website and redesign it. And because it took me for years, I'm ashamed to say this, I finally got the name copyrighted.
That's great.
You know, I finally got it done. It cost
but Greg, you have a reason. You can't really get it copyrighted until you got something going on.
Right.
You know, yeah.
So we got here of the goal is to grow it, but it's got to be done at a time that you don't kill me to do it. You know, like I thought 2020 was going to be the year. Oh, I'm never going to be on the road again. So we kind of started heading that way, but the timing to really push it into a syndication mode is not quite there yet. It'll come. And there again, as I get older, Boone Froggett, he could take it over,
Right.
He could pay me some money. No,
but talk about what you got on the show. You do interviews, you play music.
Yeah, it's more music, but there's the interviews. I've been doing the show. I started the first version of it in 1997, November of 1997, at a little station in Campbellsville, Kentucky. They call it the Big Dog. It was they wanted me to do a Southern rock show, and nothing against Southern rock. It's a great genre, but I thought, well, with blues, I can kind of stretch the
you can go, much more. And you do it. You do a great job of that.
Well, thank you. So I was at the Big Dog like 2.5 years, and all I had to do there was show up with the CDs, the music, the playlist. And I had an engineer, and he decided he wanted to quit. He had enough of it all. Not me.
You ran him out, Greg.
I ran some. So 2000, I think we did it to April 2000, I think. And then I took a break. And then in 2001, November 2001, Brian Locke at D93 gave me a call. He had been talking to me before. He said, man, I'm going to be going back to D93 if you're interested in bringing your show over. And I think it was November 17th of 2001, I started the Lowdown Hoedown at WDNS, which you could check us out every Monday night from 7 to 10 Central Standard Time. There's a couple of ways you can do it. You can go to WDNSFM.com or D93rocks.com. You can go to the TuneIn app, and it'll take you, you could actually get the station through TuneIn. And D93 has a really nice app for iPhone, Android, and it's really cool. You can listen to D93 all the time, but you can listen to me every Monday night from 7 to 10 Central Standard Time. And I do interviews. You've
had some great guests.
Yeah. Peter Frampton. I don't know how that worked out.
You've had some really good guests.
I don't think he'll talk to me anymore.
Has that ever happened? Has that happened to you? Because it's happened to me sometimes. Like sometimes people come on and I just get this feeling that something happened that it didn't work from their end. That's very few and far between. A handful.
Peter, and he's nice. Somebody hit me up from New York, said, do you want to interview Peter Frampton? I said, yes.
That's awesome.
But I thought it'd be great to follow it up, but I've never been able to reconnect,
Yeah.
There's been times, as you know, you and I've talked about certain people you want to get, and then you go through my publicist or go through my manager. Then you find out you don't even have a manager.
Yeah. I think it's just saying no would be a lot easier to save everybody time. Or no, thank you. Or like they could tell me to go to hell. I don't really care.
When those things happen, they probably don't need to be on your show anyway.
It's not, if I don't force anything ever in my life. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, that's fine. I'm like cool either way.
I've had some great guests, Vince, he probably was a country thing, Vince Gill, Marty Stewart, Steve Warner. We had Glenn Hughes, who he was a blast. As I said, Paul Rogers, I've had him, John Mayall, a lot of different people. And last week I had John Smith. A lot of folks don't know who he is. But John Smith played with Edgar Winter's White Trash, one of the founding members.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really great stories, man. You might be somebody.
Was he a guitar player?
No, he's a sax player.
Oh, yeah. I thought Edgar played sax.
Yeah, but there was 3 guys that played sax in that band.
I didn't know that.
Jerry, man, go back and listen to Road Work. Jerry LaCroix played sax, Edgar played sax, and John Smith. And they were a great band. Man, this guy's got some wonderful stories. He played with Toto. He played with Boz Scaggs. Might be some.
Yeah, I'm going to look into him.
Hey, I can set you up, man. And he's the nicest human. Nice human, man.
Awesome.
See, when you talk with people like that, after I did that, I said, man, there's some things we didn't even touch on. So we're going to do it again in about 2 months.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. It's nice when you have a little bit of downtime because it's fresher. You can't. Yeah. You
are busier on the interview thing. I don't do as many interviews because I'm afraid my schedule sometimes, like tonight, I'm not even 100% sure I can make it out of the driveway here.
Because of the weather. Yeah.
But so I'm hoping I can. But
you said you're live streaming now too. Do you live stream the whole show?
Streaming, yeah.
On YouTube or what platform? Or is it all the platforms?
Well, here on the station live streams through their website, which was 93 WDNS FM.
Yeah.
And then 93 D93rocks.com. And then there's TuneIn app. You can get it from that. Or they have a little app for the phone. It works great.
Okay.
And South Central Kentucky on terrestrial radio, we're on 93.3 FM. And you can get us, pretty good part of South Central Kentucky. So, eventually, though, the goal is, because there's going to come a day I can't be on the road touring just because family obligations, health, and whatever.
Sure.
I might be able to do the show right out of the basement, shoot it right to where it needs to go, and be done.
Have you done any live streams yet?
Oh, I do a live stream. Do you know about the live stream I do for together.co? Do you know about that?
I do, but I want you to talk about that and promote it. But I did I've done 2 live streams.
Are you talking about the little things I do on Facebook with Eric? Or
No. I did 2 live stream shows on YouTube. They weren't interviews. I just did a live stream where you interact with, whoever shows up.
Yes, I do something very similar you'll have to look this up. It's
2GTH
ER.
Yeah, right. 2GTHER, right, .com. And you do those for guitar.
It's together. Yeah, it's together.co. Don't go.
Oh, .co. Okay.
Don't go to com because you'll go to something real crazy.
Oh, together some other way. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll make sure I send you the right link back so you can post it.
Yeah, it's 2GTHER.co.
I do it twice a month. And I call it live. JD does it. I call it live from Electric Lazyland.
Yep, there you go.
And I just play guitar, and people pop on, ask questions, and sometimes they'll pop on, start playing guitar right at you. Like, all right, it's like westerns, man. They want to.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, Oddly Free, Charlie Starr. A lot of different people do it, man.
I saw Grissom does it.
Grissom does it. You actually like Mark. Mark's a good human, man.
The guy who runs it.
Yes, he is. I don't know if you ever, you guys should talk together.
Yeah, I'll be open to that. Figure out if we could do something together.
He is a good guy, man.
And he's got some good players on there.
Yes, man. I'm the comic relief.
No, man, come on. You're a hell of a player. But everybody's in the same, same exact style, but that same genre of playing, classic rock oriented sort of stuff. Yeah.
Well, JD, I have to thank JD Simo for turning me on to doing this. I started back around last July, and Boone is my engineer.
Oh, cool.
And we're going to do it this coming Sunday, actually.
I think you and Boone are like putting a little empire together there, Greg.
Well, Boone is a smart kid, but Boone also, and I tell Boone all the time, I say, Boone, you're a talented kid, but you cannot let your singing and your guitar playing and your writing, he knows that. Ultimately, someday he's going to have to get the Otis back together.
That kid's got a hell of a voice.
He does.
My God. You don't sound like a young man. He sounds like
yeah. They're at a little crossroads right now. The first thing that hit him and it was Andrew, because marriage. I understand.
Sure.
Then Steve was offered a gig with Blackstone Cherry, which I understand that.
Totally.
You gotta make a living,
Totally.
So John are holding the reins right now, going, we're not sure where we're going with it, but we need to. They've got to find a drummer, and they got to move forward.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. One thing you learn when you get older, it's okay not to know.
Yeah, that's right.
It's less stressful.
Don't be in such a hurry either. Sometimes when you just rush into something, trying to make something happen, it's a mistake,
Yeah.
When things are right,
all the time.
Man, there's not anything I'm saying here you don't already know. You've thought this stuff.
I just paid tuition like this on, hey, you live 58 years, you got no choice, right, man?
But I'm lucky, man, that I'm using the basement, productive now for my live stream with Together. And eventually the radio show can be done out of here.
Great.
The basement, it hadn't been for 2020, it never would have happened.
Right.
That's it.
And now you got it all sorted out. I saw the rehabbing on it, the organization. It looks great.
It's getting better, man.
Yeah, it looks great.
Of course the Headhunters have, one thing we didn't really get to talk about, we played the Grand Ole Opry for the first
time. Man.
Back in December.
Was that the first time you ever played it?
As the Kentucky Headhunters. Doug and I had done it with I'd done it with Ronnie McDowell 2 or 3 times. Fred had done it with Sylvia. Richard had never got to do it. But we finally were able to, supposedly there was some, early on, they were scared of us. I heard, they were
scared of you. Why? I couldn't believe it took so long. When I read it, I was like, surely this can't be correct.
I don't know. I never knew it, but I guess there was some apparition on something to do with Roy Acuff, maybe, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
I never.
You guys are all so nice.
Well, it's a great, as we say, it's the greatest thing we've done since the Macy Parade.
Yeah.
Fine. It was time that we did it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to do it. It went.
There's
a new, as you know, there's the new album. That's
a fact. What's your favorite song on there, if you have one?
Oh my God. Well, the Susanna is a very great song.
Really, really pretty.
It's crazy, Craig. I don't find myself going back and listening to our back catalog as much after it's done. I don't know what that's all about, because maybe I get self-critical. Oh, I think we did a good job on How Could I?
Yes.
We did a really good job. The song on there is really, there's nothing on there that I go, oh, I wish we had left that off.
Man, it's a really nice album.
I think solid album.
Solid album, mixed incredibly well, recorded well, good playing on that. Your playing is just as good as you've ever played, Greg.
I just, I'm not a shredder. I try to play for the song. And by the grace of God, we have some pretty good songs. Usually.
Yeah, man. Really good. Hey, man, I sent you that thing yesterday. I was in the gym and it popped up, that album Soul. popped up for me yesterday. Yeah. And I was so happy you told me it was like one of your most favorite Headhunter records that you've done.
That is great to me. You know, when I say that, guys, you know, you've got to be the judge.
Yeah.
I don't go, you need to buy our new album. You're going to love it. Well, that's fine. But I say, here's a new album. Hope you like it. We like it, and hope you buy it. That's all I can say.
Yeah, of course.
So,
but it was nice when you said that. I was happy that you said that you felt good about that. You know, that was nice.
No, there's really, on Safari had some good, man, Dixie Lullaby. Richard and Fred pointed out a song to me the other day that was just a phenomenal song called, I think, Roll On. I can't think the name of the song now, but we were thinking, God, we wish Vince Gill could get a hold of this, or the Eagles, you know. But the only problem with that album, it had some sonic. We didn't record it at Barracks. We recorded at the practice house, but there was some problems in going down. It don't hit the sonics on that album. Not quite right or something, you know. To me,
my favorite, I've told you this, my favorite Headhunter song is Back to the Sun from Flying Under the Radar. I love that track.
Kenny for that one.
What's that?
Anthony Kinney brought that one to the band.
Who's playing keyboards in that?
That would be Reese Winans.
He did a great job.
The very beginning of it.
Yeah.
That was a free gift. They had it on the record. He was just toying around like, thank you.
Oh my, I love that song. Your solo in there. It's just something about it hits me. And I really love, I literally just listened to it, I think Friday or Saturday, probably because I had you on my mind and you come on the show. So I gotta go listen Back to the Sun.
That's a good album, Brass String Ranch. I mean, I think, you know, we're not a jam band. We can jam. We don't, but we got a lot of songs that we got to get, you know, we play a show that, you know, that's a sad thing is now we got to work up this year. We'll have to insert 2 or 3 songs off the new album.
Yeah.
There'll be 2 or 3 things that have to go out probably, you know, but did you listen to the song that Richard sings at the end about let's all get together and fight?
On the new record.
Yeah.
Let's all get together and fight. Yeah, I did.
Which is very true in the South, you know?
Yeah, I did. Let's all get together. Yeah, I did. I thought it was a great record, man. I mean, honestly, that's a fact. Jack, I love Susanna, Lonely Too Long, Heart and Soul, Shotgun Effie, a lot of good songs on that record, man. You know, to be 12 studio albums deep into this and still making some solid records, this says a lot about your musicianship. And
went in, you know, after the great 2020, you know, we knew we had to get back into the game, or because if you just keep staying out, man, when you get our age, man, a year like that is longer. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's much, not to a kid, you know,
Yeah. Time's quick when you're young.
Yeah.
You know? Man, I mean, I'm sure you are, if you think back that you've been with Ruth 44 years, I think 43 years.
Yeah.
That probably don't seem like 43 years. That probably, you know, when you think
she probably just heard that and is up there banging her head against the wall.
Well, it does to me. It seems like 86. No, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's, and I know like with Ann and I, we talk, there's been a lot of stuff going on, but 29 years, I mean, for us, I'm like, holy smokes.
I know, man.
There's
been a lot of life lived, right?
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on, but that's just the way things are, you know.
Gone, some come in, you know, and yeah, Ruth and I, hey, believe me, I don't know what she was thinking when she married me. I had this old Chevrolet. I had an album collection. I had a Les Paul and an amp. I had nothing, man. And she married me. And she saved, all I can tell you, she literally saved my life.
Yeah.
You know, not that I was going to kill myself.
No, I get it. She changed it because my wife did this. She altered the direction of your world and allowed you to maximize who you are.
She did. She's a big part of that. A huge
Yeah.
And she never tried to change me. Well, she probably did on some things, but she knows. But I'll tell you, I've never told anybody this much, but I had to quit Itchy Brother in the fall of it would have been 1978. I just had to because I was broke. Thank God, Richard and Fred, I stayed with their family. They were good to me. But I was getting a lot of pressure from my parents and this and that. And I took a job at a printing company.
Wasn't that your dad worked in printing, right?
But yeah, trying to please my dad.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I tried printing twice, and it just wasn't what I was supposed to do. But there was, me and Ruth I never moved in with them or anything like that. We got married, and that was it. When we did get married. Yeah. But I remember one night, at the very bottom of everything, after quitting music, I had to sleep in my car one night and didn't go to work.
Oh my God! You know what though, Greg? I think everybody has. If you've worked for yourself, and as a musician, you are working for yourself. Anytime you work for yourself, man, you're going to have highs and lows, and the highs are sometimes high and the lows are sometimes low. Yeah.
Well, I could have went back to Louisville at that point, but I wouldn't have married Ruth. And that was the right thing to do because we're supposed to do that. I felt there's been 2 or 3 times that I felt in my heart that the Lord was speaking to me to do things. And I love her kids. And, they're so talented, John and Sherry. And then the grandkids are just coming up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They're great.
Cottage cheese. What's it called? What is it? What's the name of the band?
Oh, Sour Cream.
Sour cream. Sorry.
Yeah.
Cottage cheese. Sorry. I knew.
All of them are just popping up doing different engineering. There's a new Tail Dragger album, Johnny and Dean Smith, and Johnny's playing guitar and drums. But my grandson, who is 16 years old, Liam Gregory, engineered it. So what they'll do is they'll bring
the pretty cool, man.
Johnny do his vocals, and then they'll mix everything here.
That's great.
But I think back, like to 78. I go, well, who would ever put this crazy script together? If I went back to Louisville, none of this would ever happen. And Itchy Brother was a great rock and roll band, and we probably should have stuck it out, but I feel in my heart of hearts the timing wasn't right. It would have been a good band, but we wouldn't have changed anything. When we went into the country realm, we actually changed a few things, within that. So I think the good Lord wanted us to wait a little bit. I had to sleep in the car a night or two, and then got an apartment in Edmonton above this restaurant. Never had no furniture. Then finally Ruth decided we married. Things got better.
Hey man,
she got a good job at the bank, thank God.
It's a long journey for a lot of us,
It's a journey, man. It's a journey. Yeah.
Hey, I want to tell people, first of all, I got to start wrapping up. I apologize. I want to just tell people where to find the record and where to find everything else you got going on. So the new Kentucky Headhunters, that's a fact, Jack. It is available anywhere you can buy digital outlets. It's also available on Amazon to buy the hard copy. Is it a hard copy? Is it a CD, this album?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure is. Yeah. Okay. There's no vinyl, which there should be, because vinyl is actually moving more than CDs.
Vinyl outsold more than CDs last year. I read that. Yeah. It's pretty wild.
If you got a favorite mom and pop store, like you and I visited that really cool record store in Florida.
Oh, in St. Pete. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure that they probably got a copy of it.
Yeah. That was cool.
So you get that, but you get hard copy off of Amazon or whatever. I'm sure eBay's got it. There's probably eBay. There's probably promotional copies from radio stations you can get for $5.
Yeah, but don't buy that. But if you're going to spend money, buy the copy so the band makes money.
Yeah.
Also, go to the exact website for the Headhunters will be touring soon. It's KentuckyHeadhunters.net, and they got
or
stuff.
.one.
What's that?
.net or .com. Either
oh,
one.
okay. I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Go to KentuckyHeadhunters.net or .com, and they have all their tours under the tour calendar. They got Midwest, you know, they're solid staple tours that they're still doing. Indiana, Texas, Arkansas, Illinois, Missouri, West Virginia, Leroy, New York. I don't know what that is. Pennsylvania, Indiana. So there's a bunch of Helena, Arkansas. What's up?
We're at the state fair in Kentucky with Foghat.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. When is that coming out?
That'll be in September. We play with them.
Very cool.
Yeah.
State fair in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Imagine I got to come to Kentucky one time.
Well, you do, man. You need to come to Kentucky, man, and get your.
Do I need to get like an application because I'm a Yankee? do I need to get approved to go in?
Movie, it's kind of like that, you know. You know, just beware when you come, you know.
And also, I would love everybody to check out Greg's radio show. It's the Lowdown Hoedown, LOW down, HOE down. He has been doing it since November 77 he started. Then he started back up on D93 as it is now. It's every Monday night, 7 to 10 Central Time. And also check out Greg on together.co. That's the number 2 GTHER.co. If you're a guitar player, you can go in there and watch him play. You can interact with him. And if you're brand new and you don't know anything about the Headhunters, they're a really cool band. They're like very old school classic rock, and you will not find a better guitar player, blues bass than Greg Martin. He's the man, and he's just an awesome
together, right? It's a number 2 GTHR.
Oh, 2GE. Say that again.
It's hard. I know, man. Most of them guys can. It's 2.
Oh, I get it. GETHR.
Yeah. TH. God, this is terrible.
Hey, just look up together and like guitar. Enter together guitar. The number 2.
Actually, you could probably put a link in there somewhere, right? Or
yeah, let me see something. 2. I'm going to do this right now so everybody knows, because like neither one of us is well prepared. Clearly.
I'm not.
Okay. No, it's okay. It's not the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchange together.
Yeah.
Right. God, producer music. Oh, here go. Oh, there's one in German. I don't know why I'm getting Google in German.
2GTHR.
2GTHR. Great.
Yeah. If you open it up, you should see who's on there now. They may have changed the website a little bit.
2GTHR.co. Okay.
Peter,
yep. Watch your guitar heroes perform live. Oh, Peter Stroud's on here. Greg Koch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And this guy's just pinching all my guests. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally just kidding. We just have had a lot of similar guests on the show. Now, he's got great players on here.
Well, it's a different thing, man. It's a different deal. All these guys should be on your. They've been on your show, right?
Yeah. I'm looking at these guys. Yeah, almost all of them have been. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a whole different. It's like everybody has their own. It's like a radio.
This is funny. Like literally every one of them have. This is quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
great.
Having your own little show out of your basement or out of your bathroom or whatever, you know.
That's good.
To my bathroom. Yeah.
So it's 2GTHR.co.
Oh, if you go to
GTHR.co.
You go to some really weird thing, but yeah, you check it out, because man, every week, like this coming week, I'll pull another amp out of the basement, you know, and see what works. If it don't go up in smoke, it'll work, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah, some great players on here, man. That's cool. Very cool.
You and Mark should know each other.
Okay, I'll reach out to him.
I just have a feeling y'all should know each other.
Yeah, man, hook us up. I'll be happy to talk to the guy. I'm happy to meet anybody.
A guy that's he's got a great attitude, and he's very sharing and good person. So
yeah, man, hook us up. I'd love to talk with him.
Okay, we will.
All right, man. Anything else I could sell?
Well, you know, if a guy guitars for sale, no, man, just everybody take care of themselves. That's the main thing, right?
For sure, man. Listen, thank you for everything. It's always a joy talking with you. Always, always, always. And I'm glad you're in my world. I'm glad you're a friend of mine, and I'm glad we met. and hung out.
Well, I'm glad we got to hang and talk, and I know we got to cover a lot of different areas. If anybody wants to know him, basically guitar wise, we kind of covered that thing, but life is more important than a guitar, kind of.
Kind of most of the time. Yeah. When it's going well, it is, especially when it's going maybe not so much, but yeah, fortunately, you got to try to keep optimistic. So, hey, thank you, man. Same to you. I'm going to wrap up. Stay on there. And everybody, please listen to the new Headhunters album. That's a fact, Jack. It's really, go through the whole Headhunters catalog, 12 albums, 12 studio records, and come see them on the road. They put on a great show. You want to see a guy plug in a Gibson Les Paul into a Marshall, old school. This is the man, Greg Martin, and nobody does it any finer. So thank you for everything, my brother. And let me just sign off. I forgot my own sign off. Oh yeah, here goes. I'm so lost here and talking to you. I am. Yeah, man. We need some. Remember, most important, that happiness is a choice for everybody. So choose wisely. Be nice, go play a guitar, and have fun. Until next time, peace and love, everybody. I am out. Greg, thank you for everything, my brother. And unplug from the negative. There you go, bro.